Relax. All right. You already know what it is. ISUPK Canada to all black, so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, to all our brothers, to all the men out there, real men. I say shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatan. To all my sisters, I say shalom, Yahweh Shema Al Taba Shem Yahushai. I'm priest and officer Adiyah 1000 Adiyah with the ISUPK, which is the Israel School of Universal Practical and Knowledge. You understand? We started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Your Honor. Joining with me for now is Officer 50 Shy 1. Also 5000 Abban will be in class a little bit later. So I'm gonna take over for now, all right? So us in the ISPK, what do we do? We teach black, Hispanic, and Native Indian that they are the 12 tribes of Israel. They are the chosen people of God. They are those people that Christ came and died for. You understand? When we read this Bible, we don't see God is the God of every nation. We don't see that God loves every nation. We don't see that Christ came to die for every nation. We see that Christ came to die for the Israelite, for the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, for the 12 tribes of Israel. You understand? And we over here telling you exactly that, exactly what's in.
Salakia, Auto One, you're on mute.
You can hear me now?
Come on, come.
So, like, can you hear me now?
Come on, come, sir.
So like the oppressor is the damn devil the Bible speak of. But let's keep going. You understand? We're here to teach you exactly that this kingdom, in this kingdom that we're living right now, is gonna be over. It's a book of myth. If the Bible is a book of fable, why are the things that's in the Bible or prophets that are prophesied in the Bible are happening right now today? Which makes no goddamn sense. The Bible.
Salakia, Auto One. Come on, come, sir.
You understand? We showing you exactly what's happening in Israel, what's prophesied in the Bible. World War III is coming, man. You understand? You might think, I mean, you living in paradise. This is happy land for you. You're not in captivity. I mean,
Salakia, sir. Your mic keeps going in and out. Salakia, sir, can't hear you. There's no sound, sir. Salakia, bear with us, Israel. We're just having a couple technical difficulties.
Can you hear me now?
Khan, sir. There you go.
God, it's a lot, you know what I mean? My microphones keep being disconnected for some reason, but hey, we're gonna keep going. So this is what happened. And what is coming, man. No matter, I mean, whatever they want to do, they want to talk about peace, they want to talk about this, they want to talk about that. World War III is coming. You could go shop right now, you know what I mean? Boom. You could do whatever you want, boom. You know what I mean? Nuclear bomb drop. But people think, I mean, most black, especially Native Indian, think, I mean, we living in happy land. Never disruption, I mean.
So,
So like for my internet, I mean, for me cutting up, the oppressors, the damn devil, and they don't want you to know this truth. The truth of the Bible in Canada, they don't want y'all to know. And I mean, and well, keep going. Understand? And also, shall one bring me to Isaiah chapter 20, 34, verse 16. Isaiah 34, verse 16. Understand? We're gonna see what
Khan.
the Bible says. They talk about peace. Now, I mean, everybody want to talk about peace. We should have peace. We should have peace. God, life is about war, man. Life is about war. If you haven't realized this, life is about war. Understand? And the only way we could have peace in this world if there is no injustices done. If
Right.
righteous leader, righteous government that's controlling everything, where everybody could, I mean, eat well, where everybody could have their justice. This is done to you, you got to be paid back for it.
Right. Salakia, sir. Salakia, the one you cut out again. I think you're just on mute, sir.
Yes, a lot. My microphone just go on mute and everything like from on me. So bear with me. Are you hear me now?
Khan, sir.
Understand? Where was the where's justice for black, Hispanics, and Native Indian? Understand? Now you want peace in the world, but there's a group of people here that never had peace. Press in America, in Canada, man. And you want peace in the world, there will not never be peace in the world until the children of Israel are back in their homeland, man. You understand? You have black, Hispanics, and Native Indian in America suffering oppression, while Israel belonged to them. Saudi Arabia belonged to them. You understand? A lot of land over there in the East region belongs to black, Hispanics, and Native Indian. Now, you want peace in the world will not have peace. You understand? Until those people are given justice, the justice that they need. Bring me to that verse.
Khan. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 34 and verse
I have a
16.
question.
Khan. Verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of the law.
Seek your ear out of the book of the law. Search this book, man. You understand? Open up this book. Something that Christians don't do. And this is why Christians don't understand these prophecies. This is why Christians don't understand the Bible. They don't read. They don't search. The Bible says you have to search. You understand? You have to study. And this is another verse that says what? Seek ye out of the book of the law of the Lord. You understand? Open up this book, man. You understand? Open up this book and learn it. And that's the place you're gonna learn this book is in the ICPK, man. You're not gonna learn this book anywhere else but the ICPK. You understand? Like, give me a few seconds. Gonna add also as a budget. Go hear me? You
Khan, sir.
Kano and concert. Shalom Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatham.
Yahweh Shema Shabrak. Slack, I don't want check your mute.
Y'all hear me now?
Khan.
Khan or Khan.
Come on, sign Christ. I mean, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. Keep on going, Officer Shamu.
Khan. And read.
Officer Zabaja. Officer Laki, Officer Zabaja, if I cut up now for a long time, you just take over, right?
Khan, sir. Salakia, sir. What precept are you in?
And I said your thing, the first one.
Khan, sir. So, Salakia, Officer Shaywan, you could keep reading. I think Officer Adiyar is breaking up. Salakia, sir, your mic's on mute.
Slack, he's just his mic's going in and out. Right? We already know the oppressor's a damn devil.
Right.
But he's gonna get this through.
Salakia, one moment.
Slack, we're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 34 and verse 16.
Khan. Isaiah 34.
Isaiah 34 and verse 16.
Khan.
Laki, y'all hear me?
Khan, sir, we can hear you.
Khan, sir.
Come on, sign Christ. All right, go ahead with the precept, man.
Khan, sir. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read.
Mm-hmm.
No one of these shall fail.
Not one of these shall fail. No one of these shall. Not one of these shall fail. I mean, everything that you read, all these prophecies will happen in this Bible. Understand? The prophecies that we read in this Bible, they're gonna happen, man. They've been happening. We're seeing it today. Understand? We're seeing what's going on in Israel right now. We're seeing now on Israel. Understand? I see that, brothers. I mean, I was at my slavery, man. I was at my slavery during my break. I seen the news. I was slapping. I was slapping on that bottom. How I was shot. People was like looking at me like he done went crazy, man. You understand? We knew he was crazy. Now he done was local and everything. Understand? I was clapping for the side, man. We seeing these things. We seeing these prophecies. None of these prophecies shall fail, man. But for the learn, they don't understand these prophecies. They don't understand what's going on. They don't understand that now. I mean, this empire that in this empire that we're living in, we're about to. They don't understand that the Jewish men as the diamond district, the entertainment district, as every part of Black Nami is the richest Nami entity, we could say, or group of people on the face of the earth. You know what? They're falling down as well. They're falling down as we speak, like the Bible said they will. And they will come and bow down in front of you, Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, just like the Bible say they will, and it is going to happen. None of these shall fail. Keep on going.
None shall want her mate.
Go ahead.
For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them.
These prophecies come from the Most High. Understand? Those men that was Holy Spirit to prophesy this word came from those words came from the Most High. That spirit comes from the Most High. So you understand? Everything in this Bible, related to future prophecies, is gonna happen. They are, some of them are happening today, just like we seen in Israel. Understand? So, like, also, do you have the video of what's going on over there in Israel, so that people could see? For those that don't know,
Khan, let me get a video, sir. Give me 1 moment, sir.
come,
Khan, sir, I'm gonna
and
find the video.
also, chapter 1. We read Isaiah chapter 30, verse 8. Matter of fact, you could read it while the officers of God is looking for the video.
Come on.
Understand? Now, I mean, none of, but I mean, most Kemetic cats, they're like, oh, the Bible is a myth. The Bible is a myth. I mean, there's nothing real in the Bible. But what the prophecies are reality that we live in. How can we see that Israel is being oppressed in a foreign land? They lost their heritage. They lost everything. Why can't we? Why can't we see these things today if the Bible is a myth? Why me and you are suffering? Why me and you? I mean, our forefathers, our foremothers, now came in slavery when we could see this in the Bible. So the Bible is not a myth. The Bible is reality. Maybe you don't know your Bible. Maybe you don't want to change. Maybe you stuck in Egypt and want to be Egyptian. Why? You know what? You're an Israelite. That because of the life that we live, we're suffering. Kingdom will fall. Your oppressor shall live. You understand? And in the action do how to comport yourself, how to conduct yourself, that's what we see teach. You understand? Go ahead with the verse.
Come. This is Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 8. Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
that it may be for the time to come forever and
Go ahead,
ever.
go ahead. So this is right what it's see, what it's saying, right? For the future. You understand? Just like we read before in Isaiah 34, verse 16, seek out the book of the Lord. Now, I'm telling Isaiah, write these things down. Put it down for the future generation. Put it for me and you so we could read today and understand, get the understanding of what's going really on. Go ahead.
Verse 9. That this is a rebellious people.
So drop that. Bring me to Isaiah chapter 40, verse 5. Now we say the Most High telling Isaiah, write it down. These prophecies, write it down. Write it in the book. The prophecy that, now I mean, what we just read before, the first verse we read, the 16 says, seek out the book of the Lord. God gave those prophets a mission to write down what they saw, write down what there was, not I mean, there was given directly from the Most High, and they did so. They read these things that happen. Seek out the book of the Lord and read. You won't understand what's going on if you in Kemet. You won't understand what's going on if you're in the Christian church. Even though they use the Bible, they don't give you the truth of the Bible. You won't understand these if you're voodoo. I mean, you following voodoo. I mean, you're a Freemason. I mean, you won't understand these things that's happening today. You won't understand what's going on in Israel today. Why? Because you're not seeking out of the book of the Lord. You're not reading what the Most High says, and you're not understanding exactly what is going on. If you want to understand it, come in the ICPK. I'm coming in General Yana. You will get the understanding. You will understand. You understand what's going on. Hey, said, don't mind. Shalom, sis, Yahweh Shema, Tabash, Shah, Shalom, Shalom, warrior, Yahweh Shema. You understand? You will understand these things because why? Because you're not part of this truth. We are the home of the truth in that speaking. We make it our mission to tell you the truth about the Bible. Understand? Even though some of you don't want to hear the truth, you just want to live happily forever and ever, which is not going to be the case. Understand? You think you're in a vacation. You think that you do everything that you please, which is not the way that you live your life. But we're gonna tell you the truth. This place is about to fall, man. This place is about to fall, and you better. World War III is coming, man. You understand? Also, Sabaja, do you have that video? Bible question. Sabaja, do you have the video? Bible question.
Khan, another one, Khan. I have a video, sir.
All right, that's good. You can share that. Let the Israelite out there now. Let me see what's going on in Israel right now. They are the children. That's supposed to be the chosen people of God, right? That's supposed to be the chosen people of God. I mean, the Palestinians bumping the hell out of them right now. You understand?
Right, sir. Right.
That's-
Salakia, sir.
They don't like it. They don't have no prophecy that say this is why this is happening to them. This is why the Palestinian is going. I mean, going all. They don't have no prophecy to prove it. What is happening to us? Show why this is going on to Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We could. They don't have the prophecy that can show what's going on in Israel right now. To explain what's going on in Israel right now. They don't have no prophecy. And we could show you
Rockets and
prophecy.
airstrikes have brought life to parts of Israel and Gaza.
We could show you prophecies of why these things, because Black is Indian, the 12 tribes of Israel, they're not in their land. Israel belongs to you, Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. That's your land. Just like I said, and not just that little portion of Israel that they show, that little pizza slice that they show us a pizza slice. I mean, that's supposed to be all Israel. No, there's more to it, man. Saudi Arabia belongs to us, man. There's a lot of land over there that belongs to us, man. You understand?
Salakia, sir. Can you hear me?
There's a lot of land over there that belongs to us. So like I see myself freezing over here. Can y'all hear me?
Salakia,
Come on. Hear you.
the oppressor is the devil. Can you hear me?
Come on.
Trying to jump back in.
I know
Salakia, sir. Can you hear me?
I got disconnected from the voice. I'm not hearing anything. everything. So I was invited. If you could hear me, just play the video. Right? The videos are uploading as well. That's why.
To a standstill. Following clashes between Palestinians and Israeli police in Jerusalem, the violence has been escalating all week.
There are these long time, and tensions are stoked by inequality and poverty, and an absence of a strong economy and jobs, and perhaps inarguably a strong future for many Palestinians within their lands.
Launched airstrikes in Gaza, a Palestinian territory governed by a group called Hamas. The past week has seen the worst violence in years.
I don't want it's hard to hear you over the video.
There are long-standing reasons.
Last week was also an accumulation of weeks and months of attempting to intimidate the Palestinians not to come.
You can close the video, but I mean, so the people can go ahead and see the video as well. Right now, like if you could drop the video. Oh, this one. You hear me now?
Come on, sir. We can hear you clear.
Slide again there, okay? So you can close the video. Come. That's what. Yeah. You close the video now. I mean, you could. I mean, but just put the link of the video in the chat box. Question. You could close the video right now. So it's just bugging like this. We'll continue with the rest of the class without the video. Anyway, everybody should be aware of what's going on in the world right now. Also, shall I want to bring to Isaiah chapter 40 verse 5.
Come on, sir. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 40 and verse 5. And the glory of Yahweh shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together.
Go ahead.
For the mouth of Yahweh hath spoken it.
All right. Bring it from the top. Bring it from the top. Now we have the context of the verse. Bring it from the top.
Come. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed.
The glory of the Lord, everything that the Most High wants, the glory of the Lord is what shall want.
Slakia, sir, his power.
It's power, exactly. You know what I'm saying? I mean, gotta go ahead. The glory of the Lord is power. I mean, go ahead. So the power of the Most High shall be revealed. Go ahead.
and all flesh shall see it together.
All flesh, everybody does see it now together. We're in this world, we're seeing it. And as you begin, we understand it. We know it because we're seeing these prophecies happening. We're seeing that the Bible is real. We're not like the scorners saying, you know what, no, I don't think so. Now we seeing it. We seeing exactly if you don't understand, follow the priest and prophet of the Most High. We seeing these things, man. That's that. Go ahead.
For the mouth of the Lord has spoken it.
For the mouth of the Lord has spoken. God says so, man. Understand? God says so. Go ahead.
Right. Verse 6.
I mean, which means what? The Lord, I said that. For the mouth, God says so. Since God says so, what's going to happen? If God says so, what is going to happen? What is going to happen with His word, with the word that He's saying?
Salakia out of one.
Go ahead.
Nothing that he says will come back void. Meaning everything he speaks will happen.
Right.
Exactly. It will come to pass. Now, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, He said this, it will come to pass. It will come. I mean, it will happen. I mean, so that's what the Bible is about. I mean, the Bible is a book of prophecy. Certain things in the Bible are about prophecies. Certain things about the Bible about laws. Certain things about the Bible about this and about that. But everything is real. There's no myth. You understand? Just like we could see what's happening in Israel today. You understand? Going to Isaiah chapter 14, verse 31. If you have a question or comments about the topic, go ahead and feel free. Also, if you want to, I mean, Jaden as well, pull out the scriptures, I mean, feel free to do so.
Concept. Salaki, sir, what verse were you asking for?
Come.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 20. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 31. Shalom, shalom, shabbat. Let's get them quick. And just like I said, y'all want to Jaden tonight. I mean, bring something out.
Come.
Con, sir, I have Isaiah 1 verse 20.
This is the book.
Go ahead.
This is the book.
Hold on. Let us go first.
Isaiah 1 verse 20. But if ye refuse and rebel,
if you do what?
Refuse and rebel.
Now we giving you now we're giving you prophecies. We showing you the Bible. We telling you the truth. You're in a Christian church, you've been used to lie. You're Egyptian, telling you the truth. We're making common sense. We bring proper common sense to your ears that you never received back in your life. Now we're bringing it to you. But if you do what?
Refuse. If Salakia. But if ye refuse and rebel.
And if you refuse and rebel, now we bring I mean the truth, showing you the truth. Also, child, one aspect of telling you the truth. Now you refuse. You come, I mean, with your big head, I mean, thinking you have to know something. I mean, don't have a brotherhood. Now you refuse. You don't know how to raise up the black people, how to raise up black women, black Hispanic, and Native Indian, black families. Understand? Now here comes you. Here you are. Now you refuse. You refuse this truth. Now you rebel. You don't give a damn about it. Now you want to do your own thing, right? Go ahead.
Ye shall be devoured with the sword.
Yeah, damn. Hold on. What does that mean?
So Salakia, sir, it means death and destruction.
Mm. That is so us in the advocate telling you exactly the truth. We don't want to see you die. We don't want to see you destroyed. We love you more than you love yourself.
Right.
We showing you the truth. You're not paying us for this, paying us for this. We're doing it because we showing you the truth because we love you. Because I see you as my reflection. Because Officer Abacha sees you as his reflection. Because Officer Shadow One sees you as his reflection, even though he might not know you. Officer Abban is all the way in the U.S. doing that bit of work over here, putting works over here, man. Because we love you. That's ISPK love. But you know
Right.
what? Here it comes. Now you think you know the Bible. But if I ask you who are these people in the Bible, you don't even have no idea. If I ask you who are the Moabites, you don't know. But you know what? Us we know, and we show you the truth. And if you refuse, if you rebel, you will die in your sin. You will be destroyed. We don't want you to be destroyed. Just like Paul said, my wish is, I'm paraphrasing, my wish is that all Israel shall be saved. We wish every Israelite will be saved. None of us will have to endure and die with the oppressor, man.
Right.
These are the times that's coming. World War III is coming. Nuclear war is coming. So we don't want you to die in nuclear war. We don't want you to, I mean, to suffer this atrocious way of dying, man. We want you to be well. We want you to be in the chariots. We want you to, I mean, to be safe from these times that are coming. But if you rebel, if you, I mean, don't want to give it them a body, if you don't give it them a body, well, hey, you gotta say so. That's up to you. Thank you, my boy.
For the mouth of the Lord has spoken it.
Mm. Now the Lord says so. The Lord says so. We're not telling you something that is inside of us, and we just not just telling you anything that's come from us. And this it's from the mouth of the Lord, man. It's in this Bible. It's in this book that we read, that you Christian claim to read. But if I ask you, where is exactly what's happening in Israel in the Bible right now? Then I say Christian this. I can do this exercise, right? I say Christian this. You, do you believe that this book is about the past, present, and future? They're gonna, every Christian gonna tell you, yes, yes, I believe. Show me what's going on right now. Open up the book to them. Show me what's going on in Israel right now. Show me Black Hispanics and Native Indian in captivity. Show me Native Indian in captivity on the. Show it to me. They can. Then you tell them what is not. Isn't it this book about the past, present, and future? So you cannot show me these things. I'm shattering the Christianity inside of this brain. I mean, do this exercise, you will see. Understand? And that Christian, I mean, if they don't repent, will never talk to you again. Here, they won't talk to you again. But then what? Because that's the part of Christianity inside of their brain. I mean, you're going against that demon, and that's hard. Now, I mean, that's hard to make them fight. Understand? Was that it on the verse?
Khan, another one, Khan.
Into that other verse.
Salakia, sir, what was that?
Shah 1, bring me to the other verse, Isaiah chapter 14, verse 31. And Salakia again for those. Can you put the link of the video in the chat? And like this, the people could go see what's going on in Israel. Put the link of the video in the chat.
Khan, another one, Khan.
For those that don't know what's going on in Israel right now, Palestinians are bombing the hell out of Israelites. I mean, wanted to do, I mean, a crackdown, but bust open the sanctuary in Israel, in Jerusalem. And then the Iraq was like, I mean, we're not having it. I mean, we're not having it any longer. You them devils now, you them devils, you them oppress done oppress us too long. So Arab go crazy. Arab went crazy. But they can feel the pain of black, Hispanics, and Native Indians. See exactly what they
Right.
what Palestinians going through. We've been over here for years, for centuries, man. Which Palestinian? I mean, they are Palestinian community in Montreal, man. They are Palestinian community in Toronto.
Right.
So Salakia, can you hear me?
Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me now?
Khan, sir.
You would expect that there's Palestinian communities right, in Montreal and Toronto. I seen Toronto Palestinian was mad and I mean going and marching and everything, protesting and everything. You would expect them to feel some kind of empathy of I mean towards the native Indian. It's not their own land. Israel is not their land, but they've been there before the Jewish men. Now here comes the Jewish man taking over their land. You would think that they will be like, well, you know what? The Indians suffering the same thing for centuries. The Indians suffering the same thing I mean for decades. Then which one of these Palestinians ever spoke out for the now show it to me. Show it to me. While they're over here taking advantage of the fact that native are in reservation. And you think, now, I mean, nothing will happen in their land? You haven't seen war yet. The worst is coming. Prepare yourself,
Right.
brace yourself. Worse is coming. You understand? Go ahead with the verse. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 31. I mean, you would expect, I mean, this is what I don't understand with these people, man. They would expect everybody like pray for Palestine, pray for Palestinian, pray for Israel, pray for this. You would expect me to be, I mean, you want me to pray for you. What about praying, Salaki? What about praying for the native Indians?
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 31.
Salaki,
How?
Salaki, you hear me? So, like, you hear me, preach?
Khan.
Right, so,
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 30.
Bear with me for a second. Bear with me for a second. That's it. You would expect, like people for Israel, pray for this. What about praying for Native Indian? What about praying for the blacks, especially Native Indian that's been over for 400 years, 400 plus years, man, under captivity, under slavery? What about praise for them? What about praying for us that's being killed like dogs, man? Matter of fact, worse than dogs. What you kill a dog right now, you go to jail. White people will want to lynch you, man, for killing the dog, for killing an animal. But here comes black people are being killed. Native Indians are being killed. Now I mean, Hispanics are being killed. Nobody say pray for them. You know what? I'm not gonna pray for a dead body but my people. I'm not gonna pray for nobody else but black Hispanics and Native Indians, man. You understand? And it's man. So like if you have to hear me, I mean it's bugging a little bit over here. You understand? But I'm not gonna pray for nobody else but my people, man. To hell with to the Palestinian. To hell, I mean those Jewish men in Israel. You understand? While black Hispanics and Indian have been oppressed for 400 and plus. You understand? Bring me to that verse, Officer Shawan. Go ahead. Go ahead with the verse. I don't know if Officer, y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me?
Salakia, sir. Salakia, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you right now.
Khan, sir, you wanted Isaiah 13 and 14 and 31?
Go ahead.
Khan, sir. Officer Shayuan, he's kind of, he's breaking up. He's lagging. I'm going to read it for you. Salakia, sir. Salakia. Isaiah 14 and 31. How, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestina art to be dissolved.
All right, Salak, bring me from the top.
Khan, Adawan Khan. Isaiah 14 and 31. How, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestina art to be dissolved.
Oh boy, who's that talking about?
Salakia, sir. That's talking about what. Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
Is this talking about what's going on between Amalek and the Palestinian people right now?
Right. I mean, howl. I mean, cry loud. I mean, make some noise. I mean, you scared and everything. You feel it. You cry. You howl. I mean, go ahead.
Khan, Adawan Khan. For there shall come from the north a smoke, and none shall be alone in his appointed times.
Dang. I mean, it comes from the north with smoke. I mean, it's fire. You understand? Fire is coming down on Palestine. I mean, you ain't seen nothing yet. Now you've seen Palestinians dropping bombs. Wait until what you're going to see now they do to the Palestinians. This is
Right, sir.
what's going on in this world. That's not going to be peace. In Israel.
Salakia, sir.
This is in the Bible. Go ahead.
If I may add a precept.
Of course.
Khan, sir. I got Exodus 23, verse 22.
Go ahead.
But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies, and an adversary unto thine adversaries. Right? This is Salakia, sir, if I may.
Go ahead, break it down.
This is the Most High talking to the children of Israel, right? He's letting us know as we're coming out of Egypt, out of the land that he freed us out of our captivity, right? He's letting us know that if we do what he says, right, and we not just say to do it, but we do it. We live it in our heart. We put this law in our heart and in our mind, and we do what's required of us as Israelites, right? He's gonna fight for us. He's gonna make sure that no one can rise up against us, right? We could be 3,000 verse 10, 3,000 people verse 10,000, and he's gonna make sure we come out on top, right? You could paraphrase, you could precept it with Deuteronomy 1 and 30, Salakia, sir, if I may, right? Deuteronomy 1 and 30 is when the Lord's saying, like, the Lord your God which goeth before you, he shall fight for you, according to all that he did for you in Egypt before your eyes, right? He's letting us know that he's gonna fight for us and he's gonna attack our enemies who are his enemies, just like he did for us in Egypt with the plagues. And right now we're living through plagues. And you can see Israel, you can see the people who stole our identity, right? And another people who live in our land, they're just fighting together because they're not supposed to be in that land anyways, right? Salakia, sir. So Salakia, officer, RDR is still lagging. Officer Shariwan, can you hear me?
Con, sir.
Right. Okay, Khan. Can you Salakia, can you read Matthew 24 and 6? Take me to Matthew 24 and 6. Right? I was just breaking down how the Lord is going to be an enemy to our enemies. He's going to fight for us like how he fought for us when we were coming out of Egypt.
Con.
Right? No joke. He's going to fight for us. Look at how he's making the Palestinians and that Amalek national robber, the one who financed those boats for us to go into slavery. He's making them fight each other. Right? Everyone's gonna meet up in that valley over there, right? They're gonna meet up in the so-called Middle East, and they're gonna go to war, right? They're gonna go to war until that sky fully cracks, right? And Yahushua, a black king with 200 million angels, right? Damn near 200 million warships, right? All right, with the angels on them, they're gonna come out the sky and start fighting for us. And our oppressors are gonna have to team up, right? They're gonna try to put away their differences. That's kind of like Salakia. If it wasn't I think it was Ronald Reagan, where he said if an unknown force comes out the sky, will we put away our petty differences? Right? These are the wars that we're seeing right now. Right? We're watching World War III gear up. We're literally living through a part of history. You know, like when in high school, when the teachers tell you, well, this led up to this and this led up to that, assassination here and assassination there, and World War One started. This is what we're watching right now, right? A bomb here, a bomb there, oil prices going up over here, oil prices going up over there, the mother of all bombs here and there, right? And we're gonna watch World War III start, the third world, right? We're gonna watch this destruction, right? But this destruction is happening right before your eyes. You got a little piece of warm up with the plague. These are just the Lord is just taking jump shots. You know, before the full game starts and you're on the basketball court and you're taking little jump shots and little free layups. That's what the Lord is doing right now. He's pleading with us, little jump shots and layups, and letting us know this is what's happening, right? It's gonna be a whole massacre, right? We're gonna see Babylon burn. Babylon is gonna fall. Officer Shariwan, you could read that verse. Baba Kashal, sir, if I could. I just wanted to bring out one more verse.
No, go ahead.
The water, sir. Salakia, whenever you got it. Matthews 24 and 6. Salakia, you're breaking up.
Which verse you wanted?
The oppressor is the devil. He doesn't want us to tell you about the rumors of wars and all that's going on. Salakia, I think I heard you. Shalom to Sister Kawapa. Shalom Yahweh Shemai Alathaba Hashem Yahushai. The water for tuning in, sis. Salakia, Aki, you there? Salakia, Aki, you're breaking up again?
Con.
Khan,
This
yeah,
is
I can hear you now. You can read it.
the book of Matthew, chapter. Khan. This is Matthew 24 and 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
Finish it out, Ak? Salakia, you're breaking up again. I'm gonna just finish it for you.
I think it's
Right?
lagging on the house's part.
Khan, sir. I'm gonna read it for him. Salakia, sir. Matthew 24 and 6. And ye shall hear of wars, right? And rumors of wars. This is not saying you're gonna hear of peace. You're not gonna hear of peace in the Middle East. You're not gonna hear of oppressors who control everything going into the ghettos, into the barrios, into Brazil, into the reserve six nations, right? And the Cree nations, and hear them doing anything good for the children of Israel. But you are going to hear about Palestine and the Amalek. You're going to hear about Syria and Russia. You're going to hear about trade wars between America and China, right? See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, right? This is not the end of our nation. This is the end of of Esau's nation. You're watching the gear up for the end of Esau's nation. And with the fall of Esau, Jacob will rise. Israel will rise. Salakia, sir. I'm going to hand the class back over to Officer 1000 RDR.
What the priest is bringing out, you know what I mean, is that, you understand? This is not the end of us. Understand? Even that they might want to make you believe that's the end of us. We don't have no army. It might look like this. Everybody else got army. Every nation got an army. We don't have no army. You understand? But that's not the end of us, man. This is the end of the oppressed.
Right.
You understand? This is the end of the white man, of this kingdom. This is what you're seeing right now. You understand? And this has been prophesied in the Bible. This has been prophesied in the book that they use in church and claiming by a white. It's prophesied. I mean, this book prophesied the fall of the white man. The fall of the them oppressed, man. Understand? You was did you read that verse 7 in Matthew 24?
Salakia. I didn't read verse 7, sir. I'll go into it right now, sir.
All right, go ahead on verse 7.
Khan, another one, Khan. Matthew 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation.
Nation shall rise against nation. This is what we're saying right now. Against another nation, Palestinian versus we are them. Black, Hispanic, and Native, you are Israel. So I'm not gonna say Israel. I'm gonna say Jews. I mean, I'm Amalek.
Right.
You seeing that right? You see the new. I mean, in Canada, where even the leaders of Canada telling Justin Trudeau not to sell guns to Israel no more. I mean, to Officer Shah one. Understand? I knew about it now. I mean, and I'll check it out real quick. But you have nation going on against nation. Wait until China gets in. Wait until Russia. Wait until Saudi Arabia. You're gonna see all these nations will come to war. Every one of these nations will come. Every nation will come and fight. You know, and the Valley of Jehoshaphat. I want to bring it something for with it. See? Who breaking out me?
Salakia, sir. Can you repeat that, sir?
Go ahead. And keep on going on the
Khan,
verse.
sir. Khan, sir. the last half of verse 7, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be
Kingdom
famine.
against kingdom. Wait. Kingdom against kingdom.
Come
This
on,
is
sir.
what we're seeing. We're seeing a nation going out against another nation. We've been seeing this, but it's going to be more frequent. You're going to see more fight, more wars. You understand? You better brace yourself. You understand? You better brace yourself. You're going to see civil war everywhere, break out now in every part of the United States, even in Canada. Man. You're going to see that. You understand? It's like I think officers of Abana, 5,000 Abana is here.
Shalom Akim Yahba Shemir Sabakatum.
Shalom, sir. Yahweh
Yeah,
Hashem
but
Rashad.
I'll pass the class back to Officer Abana.
Khan, Most High in Christ. All right. Akim, as you well know, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, a police officer, 5,000 Abun, at the helm here, ISUBK Canada. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to all the pages. ISUBK Canada. We have a Twitter page. Make sure you follow the Twitter page, Instagram page. Follow the Instagram page. Check out the content that's posted there. Facebook page, as well as a YouTube page. There's enough content for everybody. Whatever it is that you so desire, about whatever topic is on your mind, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, under Command General Yohana, has covered it. Has covered it from the viewpoint of the truth, not the viewpoint of your pastor, not the viewpoint of the church, not the viewpoint of your own ideologies, your own desires, but the viewpoint of the Lord, the Most High. If you want to learn how to be a good plumber, you go to a plumber. Take an apprenticeship from a plumber. If you want to be a good metal worker, you go to a metal work shop. You go to a blacksmith, or if you want to, make swords, you go to a blacksmith that specializes in swords. If you want to be a good carpenter, you go to a construction site and find the cats that are chopping, sawing wood or what have you, making measurements, fastening the wood, etc. If you want to hear the Lord's stance on things, on life, you come to the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We're the professionals. We've been authorized by the Most High to break down these scriptures in their entirety and to give you the Lord's stance on life and what's going on. And today we're going to give you the stance on a very, very important topic, and that topic is the Israel-Palestine conflict. The Israel-Palestine conflict directly lines up with the biblical prophecies before the return of our King Yahushua, our King Christ. There is a so-called black man that is going to crack the sky and come and is going to jump all these nations and is going to kick all their teeth in. And nobody's looking for it now. That's why it says in 2nd Esdras, he who they look not for to rule, shall begin to reign on the earth. No one's looking for so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans to rule. No one's coming to us for counsel. That's for damn sure. And anyone saying that we're waiting until Jesus comes back, or we're waiting on Yahushua. Any of those two phrases are Christian, and anyone that says that does not love God, because you can't prove your love for God unless you love the people that He sent. Right? Unless you hear them and obey them. You prove that you love them unless you love the people around you, your brothers and sisters. You get my point? You can't believe in if you don't believe in the men that He sent. It's not, there's no difference in it. Okay? You don't believe us, you don't believe Him, and you surely, if you don't believe Him, you surely don't believe us. It's the same way, it's reciprocal. All right. So what we have to break down today about the Israel-Palestine conflict is the Lord's stance on it. Okay. Somebody give me Ezekiel, the 36th chapter. Let me give you the backdrop on this incident that's going on now. First thing, before all that, let's stop. Once again, I've only got three goddamn officers in a mandatory class. There's 3 officers in a class that's mandatory. There are absolutely no troopers in the class that I know of. Hold on, let me check the chat. Can everyone still hear me?
Khan, another one, Khan, sir.
Okay, hold on, let me check the chat. Blase, blah. Okay. All right, no sweat. I'll address that issue later. But as far as I know, most of the people, software. Hear me?
Salakia, sir, you're breaking up.
Can you still hear me?
Khan, sir, I can hear you now.
We can hear you now.
Okay, I cut out for a second. Okay, so I'm going to preface the Israel-Palestine conflict. First of all, what you have to understand first, before all of this happened, before all of this happened, Israelis kicked out our brothers. All right. If you're not speaking, put yourself on mute.
Yeah.
I'm hearing myself in the background. I'm hearing reverb. All right. The Israel. If you cannot hear me, if I buffer or if I go out, then you can unmute yourself. If you have something to add, you can unmute yourself. If you're reading the scripture, you can unmute yourself. But if you're not speaking, mute. All right. Thawada. All right. So I'm going to preface this. First of all, the first thing they did was they tried to deport our brothers in Dimona. Our brothers in the 60s decided to go back, quote unquote, to Israel, which was a mistake. They should not have done that. And they did that following man. Once again, everybody loves to bring out the scriptures about following man against the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge when nobody calls anybody. They don't call the Christian church out on following man. They don't call the Catholic church out on following man. They don't call the Muslim mosque on following man. They don't call out other Israelite groups for following man. It's always One West that catches the flack for it when you got cats that are running to Egypt, cats that are running to Israel, telling you to buy a plane ticket when that's nowhere in the Bible. They did it in the 60s erroneously. They were totally wrong in doing it. It doesn't line up with the prophecies. Okay, we're going back to Israel in the chariots of the Lord, not in JetBlue Airlines. Okay, we're not going back on a commercial airlines flight from JFK Airport, from Midway Airport. That's not how we're getting back to Israel, man. Okay. The scripture saying in Isaiah 26 and 20, hide thyself in thy secret chambers, as it were, for a while. I'm loosely paraphrasing. Christ said this, whenever any man comes to you and say that, lo, Christ is here, Christ is there, believe him not. Okay. Everyone's going to know when Yahushua returns. He's a Judite. There's going to be no, it might be him. It might not be. Who is he? Where is he? I thought he looked like David Koresh. I thought he looked like a Hell's Angel motorcycle biker. What's going on? He's over here in the woods. Judite, man. Imagine, Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, whatever you want to put in your mind in the world as a comparison. That's how he's going to come. It's going to be, everybody's going to see it. I'm here. No talking. Let's do this thing. Okay. That's how he's going to come when he returns. The scriptures say when he returns, he shall do no talking. He'll put kings in judgment. Okay. When he comes back this next time, you're going to hear about it. Everyone's going to see it. And there's going to be absolutely no diplomacy. There's going to be no, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Heads are rolling. Okay. Heads are rolling and swords are getting put to flesh. That's what's going on when Christ returns. All right. He's not going to be in some ranch in Waco, Texas. He's not going to be in the Negev desert near a damn nuclear power plant. That's where that's where Dimona was. Dimona was next to a nuclear power plant and a maximum security Israeli jail. Okay. That's where they put the Palestinian terrorists at. There's a prison. I can't remember what the prison's name is, but there's a prison down there in the Negev desert where they put some of the worst so-called Palestinian terrorists, and that's where they decided to put the real Jews. Okay, so they are looking to deport them to God knows where. First of all, those people have been there since the 60s. So if the Israelis, the fake Jew, if he's going to move them, where are they going? They're not American citizens anymore. I would imagine if you've been there for that long, you would have had to denounce or renounce your American citizenship. So if Israel doesn't accept them, who will? like once again, the children of Israel are despised by every nation. By every nation, and it's not about skin color. No, this is another myth. No, they don't like the Latinos more. Go live in Brazil for a week. Go live in Rio de Janeiro for a week. Go live in Honduras for a week. Go live in El Salvador for a week. Go live in Mexico for a week. They don't love the Latinos more. That's another lie. They don't let the native go live in a reservation for a week. Okay, that's another myth. They hate us because of the prophecy. Okay, and the curses of God, the curses the Most High put on us because of our iniquity. All right. That's why they hate us, and they hate us, man. And they hate our brothers and sisters over there in Dimona. And though they made a mistake in the eyes of the Most High in trying to go over there, we feel for our brothers and sisters that are being oppressed across this world. And that's what's going on with them. So they were moved. They're looking as hard as they can to deport the real Jews. They said that the black Hebrew Israelite community in Dimona, Israel, is unincorporable with the Jewish state. Mind you, once again, black people are Africans, right? There are some Israelites in Africa. This group of Israelites, this group of Africans could be Israelites. Once again, the Israelis have no problem accepting the Falasha Jews, dark skin, African, Ethiopian, Haile Selassie, Rastafari. They have no problem accepting them. But you, they won't accept you. You're unincorporable. The Falasha are not. The Falasha are one of the tribes of Israel. The Israelis accept the Falasha as the 10 lost tribes of Israel. But we're not incorporable. Once again, the children of Israel need to understand that we are separate from every other nation, and every other nation looks at us with disgust, and they think of us as unincorporable, but we are the real children of God. So that's the backdrop. Go ahead, Zabadia.
Salakia, sir. Kana, the water, sir, if I may. So it basically what you're saying, sir, is people who left Chicago, the tribe of Judah who left of Chicago, they went to from one ghetto to another, from one oppressor to another. It's just like what they said about us when we were getting out of slavery, when they said we were too stupid to work, or basically we had to be slaves because we weren't smart. The fake Jew is saying that we're unincorporable, like they can't work with us, like but they can work with every stinking heathen nation under the sun.
Absolutely, brother. And it just
Salakia, sir.
goes to show you that, like cursed, we're cursed in this place, and moving. We have is supernatural. This is, you know, I said. So by doing what the Most High says, once again, they made a mistake. Nonetheless, they are being oppressed. They're wrongfully oppressed, and the Lord is sent fire on Israel for that. Has them at war for once again oppressing the children of Israel, which is what the Israelis did right before this whole rocket attack with Hamas and the Israelis started. Right before it started. Okay, but they went for, like you said, they went from one ghetto to another, and are still oppressed. The Israelis were dead wrong for doing that. We're dead wrong for doing it. So that's the backdrop. So they once again started with deporting us, deport the slaves. Then they tried to do it to free people, to human beings. They tried to deport human beings, and they got upset like any person would. And they had the power to fight back. The Palestinians have power to fight back, which again shows you who the real oppressed people on this earth are. We don't have the power to throw sticks and rocks over there. They would have pressed one button and it would have been over in a week. Okay. It would have Israelis would have pressed one button, and that whole the whole skirmish, it would have been over if it was us. We don't have the ability to fight back on that level, but the Palestinians do. The Palestinians are not the oppressed of the earth. The black people in Dimona are the oppressed of the earth. They don't have a voice. They don't have rocks to throw. They don't have rockets. They can't afford rockets, nor are they trying to throw rockets. The most peaceful people in Israel, I guarantee you, are the brothers and sisters in Dimona. If they were the first to get pushed off, and that angered the Most High. And this fits right in with the prophecy that place is about to become a powder keg. Once again, black people in Canada love Africa. Nobody's fighting over Africa. Nobody. There's no fight going on in Africa. China is getting to do whatever the hell it wants, and they having little skirmishes with those little African countries down there, mostly with the white man in South Africa, because he's trying to slaughter the Zulu and those Hamites down there, and Moab wants a peace. Okay, so they having a skirmish, but nobody's fighting over Africa. They're fighting over the Middle East. Okay, that's the most prized land in the world. Jerusalem is the mother of us all. It's in Ephesians or Colossians. Jerusalem is the mother of us all. Okay, and that land, when you Google the Fertile Crescent, it's not in Matumbo, it's not in Chad, it's not in Niger. The Fertile Crescent is in the Middle East. That is the most prized land on the earth. If you look at it geographically, the Middle East is, if you own the Middle East, you can tax people going anywhere. Meaning, if you want to get to, let's say you want to get from Okay, let's say you want to get from Asia to Europe. Unless you're going through Russia and have fun with that, okay? Walk through Russia in the winter and see if you make it out. Unless you want to walk through Russia in the middle of winter, the only way you're going to get from the only safe way you're going to get from Asia to Europe, you got to pass through that Middle East. If you're going on foot or on land or by train or by boat, you're going to pass through the Middle East more often than not. That's the quickest way to get there, around the seas of the Middle East. If you want to get from Africa to Asia, where you have to go, you have to cross the Middle East. If you want to get from Europe to Africa, unless you're going to go all the way to Spain and take a boat across the Strait of Gibraltar and climb some mountains. You want to get from Europe to Africa, you're going to go down, you're going to walk. If you want to cross by land, if you want to cross by sea, then that's on you. That's what you're going to do. But you have to cross the Mediterranean, or you got to cross some area connected to the Middle East. The Middle East is the most prized land on earth. It's the most prized land on earth. Everyone is fighting over it because everyone wants it, and they were pushed to fight over it by the Most High. The Most High setting the stage for World War III. And everything that you see in Canada, we love in Canada, the weed, the lust, the oppressors' holidays. That's funny, Akim. We'll get flack from Haitians and West Indians. The Bible is a white man's book. The Haitians and West Indians will turn around then and celebrate every white holiday in Canada. Nobody says, well, Christmas is a white man's holiday. We're not going to celebrate that. Or I'm Haitian. I'm not going to celebrate every holiday in the French when we go off and worship every holiday. We caught up in this damn place and don't understand the Most High is setting it up to destroy it. Let me get Ezekiel 36.
Khan, out of one Khan. Salaki, Ezekiel 36 and you wanted 20, sir?
Ezekiel 36 and 1. If you're not speaking, put yourself on mute. Mute your mics.
Khan, out of one Khan. Ezekiel 36 and verse 1. Also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord.
Keep going.
Khan, out of one Khan. Verse 2. Thus saith the Lord God, because the enemy had said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession.
Yeah, the mountains of Israel in this chapter specifically, we'll be talking about the society, okay? The society or the people. All right, in verse 2, so when it says prophesy unto the mountains, meaning speak to the people, speak to us. The word was given to Israel. This is talking to the people of Israel. This mountain specifically. But if you go to Ezekiel 38, the mountains in that context is talking about the land itself. But in this context, when it says the mountains of Israel, meaning the people or the society, the house of Israel, so you can understand. All right. In verse 2, it says, because the enemy had said against you, aha. They say, aha. They always are looking for an opportunity to come kill us. That's what happened in Jacarezinho, in Rio de Janeiro, when they slaughtered, there's 28 people, 28 brothers dead. They always look for that aha to come and take us over. They look for the aha to take over the Central Americans. They found that when two disgusting, greedy banana companies, Dole and Chiquita, were slaughtering Guatemalan, Central American, El Salvadoran, Honduran natives for some land to grow some stinking bananas. And now, if you grow bananas in Central America, you're going to starve to death. So what's going to be grown? Cocaine. And then he comes down, he says, aha, and comes slaughter you and burns your whole coca field down. And who's he killing? He's not killing the Spaniards that are running the coke. He's killing the natives, okay? The people, the Israelites, blacks and natives that are poor and the only option to eat, is to grow that coca. Once again, they make life so miserable, and they push, in our culture, they push the idea that the only way you're going to get clout, the only way you can be a man is if you sell dope. That's not pushed in any other community. The Asians, there's no push for every other Asian male to become the next rapper. There's no push in the Arab community to be the next up and coming rapper in Toronto. There's a rapper every square meter in the hood. Everybody's a rapper. Every woman's an OnlyFans model or a stripper. That's not pushed on any other community. And once again, that's pushing our community. Why? So they can have that aha moment. We got him. excuse me, he had weed in his pocket. Jorge had gang tattoos. He was a part of a gang. We had to kill him in El Salvador. There's a no gang policy. He had his shirt off. The cops. There was a sister in Brazil. I'm watching a documentary. There was a sister in Brazil. Her husband went to a favela to offer Brazilian jiu-jitsu classes. The police had a raid in the favela. They saw him. He was hiding. It was a raid. So they fire in and whatnot. It's back and forth between the gangs and the police. Allegedly, they go in there and do whatever they want. They'll say, gangs are firing, but it could just be them massacring people, and they just saying we were fighting the gangs, and the gangs shot some people. Who knows what's going on? Okay, but in any event, they found him hiding, and they shot him and killed him. They said he had his shirt off, so he was probably in a gang. Okay, they had that aha moment. They want something to stick you with, something to use as an excuse to slaughter us, because that's how they made this place great. It's their formula for success. You're right, go ahead.
Yeah, sir. Shalom to everyone. If I could, sir, if I could, right, I just wanted to just reiterate what you were saying in chapter 38. The mountains it's not Israel in Ezekiel chapter 38, but is who, sir, you said?
Yeah, I watched the breakdown a few years ago on the grill, and it was broken down that when it says the mountains in 38, it's talking about the land of Israel, the so-called Middle East. All right, where it says that Magog, something like that, Magog shall come against the mountains of Israel. That's talking about the land, the area of Israel. That's also in Revelation that Gog and Magog shall come through the valley of Jehoshaphat. I'm loosely paraphrasing. All right, we can get Ezekiel 38 as well. But I want to read a few verses on Ezekiel 36. So in any event, they're always looking to have that aha moment. Okay, the aha. Our sisters is, well, you're on OnlyFans model, so when they go missing, she just ran from home. We don't know. They all are out here running around having promiscuous sex. So 64,000 black women going missing, and there's no alarm sounded. If 64,000 East Indian women were missing, there would be a United Nations meeting right now. They'd have United Nations meetings every day. They'd be scouring the earth with pictures of Krishna, trying to lure East Indian girls that might be under human trafficking, what have you. And with the Native American women as well. Nobody's going to look for us. They're not crying in the morning. There is no stop Native American hate. There is no stop black women hate and kidnapping, what have you. None of that going on. Okay. Why? Because they have that aha moment. That's what they've said to us. Keep reading Ezekiel 36 and 2. Zabaja, to mute your mic.
Ezekiel 36 and 2. Aha, even the ancient places.
We cannot hear you. I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
Can anyone hear Zabaja?
Salakia, sir, I can hear you. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Salakia, the one I can hear you.
Yeah, I have to refresh my page. You can read the verse. I don't know why, but sometimes my mic goes out. I'll be right back.
Khan. Ezekiel 36 and 2. Thus saith the Lord God, because the enemy had said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. Salakia, sir. Salakia. Just like Officer 5000 of Bond was breaking down, the oppressors, they're always at us. They're always trying to us, right? And any other nation, every nation has power except for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American, right? And there was something real heavy that Officer Bond said earlier. He said that the Palestinians, they're able to fight. They have power, right? They're able to shoot off a rocket at their oppressor, right? Hispanics and Native Americans, you don't have a single rocket, not a single tank. So okay, let me try to add Officer Bond again. All right, he's able to add himself back. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, not a single tank,
Hello?
right, in the ghetto or on the reserves. You can't defend yourself from any of the oppressors, right? We went to the reserves the other day, last year. Let me see if I can add Officer Bond back now.
Hear me?
Salaki, sir, I'm trying to add you back. It won't let me click on your
Okay, hold on one second. Yeah, I'm in.
Salaki, Officer Shaw, you on? If you can, add Officer Bond back. Salaki, sir, if you're speaking, I can't hear you. Akim, can you hear
Hello?
Officer Aban?
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah. Khan, I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, I'm in. Thought I appreciate you. Con. So let's go to Ezekiel 36 and 2. I'm gonna break down the rest of it. It says, even the, even the ancient high places are in ours in possession. They've taken our ancient high places. This temple, allegedly, this temple and that temple. The temple, Solomon's temple, is currently inaccessible. If for some reason they can't access it. All right. But the temple that Herod built, the heathen, that temple, they go over allegedly and wail on and put little notes in, like the notes you would hand to a girl you liked in middle school. They slip little notes in the cracks of this wall and bob back and forth towards it. All right, they have our ancient high places in their possession. They rule the land of Israel, the so-called state of Israel, and the Iranians rule the other part of our land, and the Turks rule another part of our land, and the Jordanians and the Lebanese and all these other heathens, these Arabs, Saudi Arabians, own portions of our land. Okay, the land of Israel is not that tiny little sliver. Okay, that New Jersey size cut of the Middle East. That's not the land of Israel. The land of Israel stretches from the Mediterranean Sea all the way to parts of Afghanistan. That whole land, Iran, part, like I said, a part of Afghanistan, I believe a portion of Pakistan, going north to Turkey, all the way across to Israel and down to Saudi Arabia. That whole portion, what they call the Middle East, all those countries that they're fighting over, all those countries are ours, man. That's Israel. That's Jerusalem, so you can understand. All 12 tribes are going to have a home base there, and you're going to the 144,000 are going to rule the planet from their respective zones. Okay, I don't have the particulars as to whether you'll have to be there, but it's just like how Esau runs it. He'll be somewhere in Thailand, or he'll be some diplomat somewhere in Libya. He can be in Libya, and he could not be in Libya. Doesn't really matter. All right, but the Israelites will be running the earth from their zones. Okay, in the Middle East. All right, each tribe will have their portion of land. Zebulun will have a cut; they'll be in a certain portion of it. Benjamin, they'll have their cut in a certain portion of it. Issachar will have their cut in a certain portion of it. Asher will have a cut in a certain portion of it. Judah, Levi, etc. All the tribes are going to have a cut. All right, but I'm good. That place they have in possession. Keep reading. Your mic's muted.
Khan, verse 3.
Go ahead.
Therefore prophesy and say, Thus saith the Lord God, because they have made you desolate and swallowed.
Because they have aged. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said in the beginning, this specific mountain of Israel is talking about the people of society. They've made the society desolate. And in reality, they've also made the land desolate as well. Okay. That land called the Middle East is desolate, man. It's a wasteland. It's got no truth there. It's got nothing but rock circlers and rainbow pride observers. Okay. The only so-called gay pride march in the Middle East is in Israel. All right. Therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord God, because they have made you desolate. They made us desolate. They put us in the desert next to a nuclear power plant and a maximum security prison in Dimona. They made us desolate. They pushed us into the corners of these zones and pushed abject poverty in our communities when they know abject poverty leads to only one route by and large, and that route is crime. They know this, and by doing this, they've made us desolate, and they've swallowed us up on every side. On every side, they just swallow us up, man. They just swallow us up. Once again, like these hair and nails in Canada and the United States at one time were done by black women, our people, West Indians. We moved up to little Jamaica. We took care of our own. We stuck together as a community, man. But once again, we don't get grants that the Chinese get to build a Chinatown in every major city. So-called black women aren't getting grants and getting crowdfunding, etc., to build hair and nail salons. They don't get Hollywood celebrities to come and travel to the hood, teach black and Latino women how to do nails. And that's what
Right.
Tippy Hedges did in the 60s after the Vietnam War. After the Vietnam War, they flew Hollywood celebrities over to Vietnam, and the Vietnam refugees would train. They would give Hollywood nail technician training, and that's how they began to swarm and take over the hair and nails, which is why when you go to get your hair and nails done, whether you're in Burbank, California, or give me a city with it, or Brooklyn, New York, whether you're in Burbank or Brooklyn, you go to get your hair and nails done, most likely they're Vietnamese. Okay, they cornered that whole market because of Hollywood help and government grants. We don't get those things. They swallowed us up on every side, man. Swallowed us up on every side. And the fake Jew, the same cat that's crying over there in Israel, come over here, run a record company, and then push black and Latino women to think like Cardi B. If he can't give you a bag, then forget him. I'm just going to sit around somewhere with my legs open and deal with six-figure men. I don't know what woman they're talking about, but these are fictitious women that they're talking about in these songs. The problem is that black women in Jane and Finch try and live life like that. Actually think that's a real person that lives like the lyrics that they're mentioning, the lyrics that they're referring to. That's what they've done. They swallowed us up on every side, swallow our brothers and sisters up with the carding up there in Toronto. You had that Jake cop had to leave the force because of all the damn carding and the chasing you down on ATVs and beating you half to death. All the dirt that they were doing, all the 52nd, I forget what precinct that was, selling dope uh, 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 throughout the neighborhood. It was a precinct somewhere in Toronto that was caught selling dope. One of the 50s, I think. Okay, all the work being all the guns. Once again, COVID-19, there's no shortage of shootings and illegal guns being found in the streets. No shortage of gunshots, etc. Where we live. They swallowed us up, man. They swallowed us whole. Read on.
Khan, other one, Khan. And swallowed you up on every side, that ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen.
Yeah, that's what he did. That's what he did. He sunk our countries, where places where we come out of. Those of you that aren't from the tribe of Judah, you come typically, you don't hail from the United States, or your family does not hail from the United States. You can thank Canada for sucking up and swallowing up and drying up your country, Jamaica. Canada dried them up. Canada and the British Empire swallowed up these West Indian lands. France swallowed up Haiti. Spain and France swallowed up the Dominican Republic. America and Russia swallowed up Venezuela, swallowed up Colombia, swallowed up Brazil, and that those same Palestinians everyone's crying over, they running dope in Colombia as well, and they using the funds to fund their little terrorist group. All those little stinking rockets, they were those cheap flea market rockets they were hurling in the damn air. That was embarrassing as well. So, lucky I'm not in for war and all that, but they those rockets on that news. Well, I'm looking at it, I'm like, what is this here? They found that in the damn flea market. How much for this? How much for this? Hamas, I don't, or Abib, I don't know why you're buying these. These are rusted iron pipes. I need 12 of them. I laughed about it. You went to a damn flea market to buy rockets, using the money that they got from flooding Bogota with dope. Go look it up. They're big. They're running dope in South America. The chief in running it coming out of South America, and the Sinaloa, Los Zetas Mexican cartel running up the rest of the way, taking it up through I-35, going up through the south, I-11, taking it to east of Florida, hitting that I-95 all day long. I-95, Virginia, D.C., Philadelphia, New York. That's has been a dope highway. The I-95 going north and south. I-95 take you all the way up to Boston and north, take you all the way down to Miami, hitting all those zones, Atlanta, all that. All that's connected by the 95. Okay, Hamas running all that dope through South America. They got their hand in the dope trade in these South American countries. Let them hurl those little flea market rockets at the Israelis. Let them get blocked and let them die as well. That's the Lord's judgment. Okay. Because while everyone is crying for these two nations, no one is crying at the nations that these two people have hurt. Hamas is directly involved in the drug trafficking operation in Colombia that our brothers are dying for, that our brothers are being massacred for. Once again, if I'm saying it, the Brazilian police know that terrorist groups are running the dope. If I'm saying it, I don't have secret clearance, any nonsense like that. If I know it, the police know it. The guess the police are going to massacre. They're not going to massacre Hamas. Why? Because they have an actual fight on their hands. They're going to massacre some alleged dope dealer. They're going to kill black people with their shirts off. That's who they're going to go kill. Let the Palestinians get theirs as well, because though you may not have known since this class, they deserve it as well. They deserve all that they're getting. Okay, that group, Hamas and the Israelis. Israelis oppressing the tribe of Judah in Dimona, saying they're unincorporable. When you go to watch videos of those brothers and sisters, they said we've given ourselves to this place. Our sons and daughters, when they graduate or when they turn 20 or what have you, they join the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, the Israeli Army. Some of our brothers and sisters are going to be caught up in the fake Jews military, dying in World War III. They don't care about that. We're unincorporable. Well, guess what? You can eat these rockets then as well. That's the Lord's judgment. Okay? And Hamas can get theirs as well. Let them fight. Once again, let these nations fight and build up the 12 tribes of Israel. Your orders are to get your brothers out of the world in Toronto. Okay? Because they live in this nonsensical, stupid, live fast and die young, feminine lifestyle where your life is based on your pleasure. Pleasure is good. It's good to have. But when you're a man should not make his life totally on pleasure and how he feels. That's a woman. You get my point? That's why Paul was saying, she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth, because that's what women like. Women like pleasure and feeling comfortable and stuff like that. A man, you were literally built to be uncomfortable. That's why you have something called testosterone in your body. It's why you have, the thick skin that you have, both mentally and literally. Your skin is thicker than a woman's. You have musculature, etc., to be able to handle harsh environments. But they taught our brothers, though they appear hard because they'll pull out a gun and shoot you or rob you or what have you, they've taught them to live a feminine life of just doing whatever you want whenever you want it. And if you can't get it now, you'll do whatever it takes to make a dollar. That's how a woman that's how a woman naturally thinks. You get my point? That's how a woman naturally thinks. And they need to be turned from that to a life of suffering, a life of trial, a life of tribulation, a life of triumph, a life of victory. That's how free men live. Okay. A side note, the table that Benjamin Franklin and some of the founding fathers sat in, I think it was somewhere in PA or Massachusetts, that table they sat in, it's still standing to this day. You can go to this table and it says this is where some of the founding fathers sat at and discussed the independence of their nation. When you think about that, 100 years ago, it was 4 or 5 oppressors sitting at a table, drinking beer, talking over some ale. What can we do to get out of the oppressive grip of these people? And now look, America is the most powerful nation on the planet Earth. The Lord's calling us to do the same thing. You get my point? These zones, these classes, what have you, are going to become memorial in our nation. going to be in a museum. Lord allow. This is the headpiece of officers of Badger, ruler of Benjamin, Officer Shariwan, ruler of the king of this zone, Officer Uriah, ruler of the mighty ship, the Zebulonites. This was his headpiece. This was his, this is the Bible he read from. This was this was this. These are his boots. This was that. This is what you were going to be memorialized, and you should be. Okay. But once again, they always swallow this up and swallow this up. I'm going back to the verse 3. Swallow this up so that we can be a residue to all the heathen. You've been redlined. You've been pushed to projects. They swallowed Jamaica up, swallowed Venezuela up, swallowed Colombia up, swallowed Brazil up, swallowed Cuba up, so that you can be a residue to all the heathen, so that you can fly to Toronto and be subjugated by the Somalians, so that you can fly to Toronto and you can be subjugated by the Chinese, so that you can fly to Toronto, set up little Jamaica, and then they come and smash little Jamaica and to build one damn LRT rail. You can come to Montreal and you can come and live underneath every other nation on this earth. All right, Zabaji, you can take it from here. Keep reading. Read Ezekiel 36:3 and then break it down. I gotta come out of the class and come back in. I can't hear anybody else. All right.
Khan, other one, Khan.
All right.
Officer, you're right. Okay, are you with me?
Khan, sir.
You got your sword open?
Khan, sir.
Read Ezekiel 36 and 3, Khan.
Khan, sir. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, and verse 3, and it reads, "Therefore prophesy and say, Thus says the Lord God, because they have made you desolate and swallow you up on every side."
Hold that right there. Right? We prophesize to our people and we let them know that the oppressor has destroyed us. He has basically broken down the spirit of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to the point where they don't even want to hear that they're the Jews, to the point that they just want to celebrate whatever the oppressor says to celebrate. The oppressor tomorrow says, listen, from now on, we're going to celebrate Marching on the Moon. That's what Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives are going to do, because the oppressor has made us not remember that we are the Jews of the Bible. Right, and when I say Jews, I mean Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We are all 12 tribes, right? The oppressor has made us forget that. They swallowed us up on side. Well, we got to go to our oppressors for everything, right? We got to.
Con, I appreciate you.
So we basically have to go to our oppressors for everything.
Can you hear me?
Come on, sir. I'm gonna hand the class back over to Officer Bond.
Con, I appreciate it. Yeah, my phone's cutting off every now and again. But in any event, I'm just going to read the rest of the verse. That ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen. And ye are taken up in the lips of talkers and are an infamy of the people. We're an infamy of the people, man. We're known for a bad reason. Okay. Known for a very bad thing. Being infamous is being known for an evil thing. You get my point? It's being known for some evil thing. Our sisters are known for evil things, known as being the strippers of the world, the easy girls of the world. So when we go missing, no one cares. No UN meetings, none of that. A few protests by our own people, but that's about it. We are called unincorporable. That's what the fake Jew said about the real Jews, the tribe of Judah, literally. Said that they're unincorporable. Meanwhile, you've got Falasha Jews. You've got those bobbleheads, the sons and daughters of Barack Obama, running around Israel with a towel around their neck, with a Superman cloak around their neck, with a few titsits and tibbets. And the Most High. It's a joke, man. We're infamous. Okay. Verse 4, it says, "Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God to the mountains, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, and to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which become a prey, and risen to the residue of the heathen that are round about." This is talking about the land. This verse is talking about the land Verse 1 is more on the topic of the Israelites, not the people there now, but the Israelites. This is literally talking about the land of Israel now. All right, the area where we live. They made it desolate. They destroyed the place. They put gay pride parades there. You've got Arabs over there in Iran and Afghanistan that have they'll have little boys dressed like women, have them dance in a sexually provocative manner. You know how a woman would dance in front of you, sexually arouse you. They'll have little boys dance like that, and then they'll go have sex with them. They're called the Bacha boys. Okay, doing that in Afghanistan and in Iran. They made the Middle East something disgusting, a mock of filth, a land of suicide bombers and criminals. Okay, and Israelis, thieves. Okay, terrorists, etc. That's what our land is now. Our land is full of identity thieves and terrorists and Muslims and rock circlers and Bacha boy lovers and Borat. That's what our land became. A joke. Okay.
Slovakia, sir, if I may.
But
So Slovakia, sir, if I may, like Amalek is calling our brothers and sisters who are over in the land of Israel when they shouldn't be at this moment incorporable, right? That was with the East Indians. They worship anything that they worship cows, Slovakia, sir, and they with cow pies, right? They cover themselves in cow dung, right? And they're not saying the East Indians are incorporable, Slovakia, sir.
once again, you're absolutely right. Like and again, we're unincorporated, but you've got people doing all kinds of nonsense. I, I heard in China that they greet each other by coughing in each other's faces. I bet they don't do that anymore with COVID-19. But these nations are just disgusting. They're vile. They're brutal, and they're sexually deviant religiously. So there's no reason for it other than it's religion. All the rape going on in the Catholic Church, that's religious. That's a part of the religion. It's a part of the belief system, clearly, if everybody's doing it. They paid billions to the victims of child sexual abuse, what have you, in the Catholic Church. Go ahead, Shari one.
So Slovakia, Adawan, and would this be just a way of saying in this time that this is the time where people would call evil good and good evil?
Oh, I mean, you can forget about that, man. Yes. They'll call evil good and good evil. They'll say East Indians worshiping an elephant dressed as a man with 8 arms is good. That's fine. Many of your celebrities and the rappers you love and idolize will go to East India and pay those stupid gods respect, but they'll call the doctrine of One West the truth. They'll call that a conspiracy theory based in New York. That's what they said. Don Lemon said about the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, One West, the Black Hebrew Israelites, whatever you want to call us. He said that is a crazy conspiracy theory. But the East Indians covering themselves in cow dung, that's not a conspiracy theory. Africans, before you get married in Zimbabwe, you have to have sex with your wife's aunt. That's not crazy. And the wife has to say, oh, yes, he's good in bed. He's very good in bed. You should marry him. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? A female genital mutilation, that's not a cult. That's not a crazy conspiracy theory. But once again, a Black, Latino, First Nations, a slave is not respected in this place. Okay? Why? Because we're in the lips of talkers, and we're in infamy of the people. That's what we are. Read on.
Slovakia, sir, you wanted verse 4?
Read verse 5.
Khan or the one Khan. Ezekiel 36, verse 5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, surely in the fire of my jealousy I have spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea.
See that? That's why he's speaking. That's why when I said the land of Israel In verse 4, mountains of Israel is talking about the land because it's saying he's speaking this word against the residue of the heathen. Who's in the mountains of Israel, the valleys, the rivers, the heathen, Arabs, and some other mixed group of Shemites that are over there. Okay, Ishmael and the other groups of Shemites, aka the Arabs. Okay, along with Idumea, and the Arabs and Shem that are not Israelites. Those three occupy our land. They are the heathen. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Uriah.
And so, like, sorry if I may add, what you're saying is so heavy. And the Caucasians too, from the Caucasus Mountains, right? Like the fake, them fake muffos there that are in Israel now. They're aren't they Caucasians from the Caucasus Mountains?
Yeah, they a group of Caucasians known as Amalek. They founded an empire called the Khazarian Empire. I can bring that history out, but they converted to Judaism. Well,
Yeah.
they converted in several waves. The first wave was during John Hyrcanus after the Maccabees. Once again, um, being overzealous and wanting everyone to adopt our culture. You had some of the families of the Maccabees after Judah, Mattathias, and then passed. The family of the Maccabees converted Esau to our culture, to what they call Judaism. That was the first thing. The second most major one, the most recent one, was Khazaria, the Khazarian Empire. Jewish scholars said this. They came out and said it. You can go and research it. The fake Jew tries all day to say he's from Judea. It's a damn lie. The artificial intelligence, archaeology, sociology, history points them back to Kiev. They're from the damn Ukraine, okay? And they migrate and formed an empire, known as Khazaria. And in 700, during the Crusades, they converted to a religion that was not Christianity or Islam, because if they converted to Christianity, they would be under Richard the Lionheart in them. They would be under the English Crusaders, the French Crusaders coming over. They converted to Islam, they will be under Saladin. Saladin and the Sassanid Empire, they'll be underneath the caliphs, the caliphate, Saladin, etc. They'll be under the Muslims, the Arabs. So they flipped a coin for a neutral religion. I think they were considered Buddhism as well. They flipped a coin and said, all right, we're going to accept the Bible, but it'll be under Judaism, okay, which is the belief of the Jews that we are the Jews and will follow the Torah, okay? And that's basically how they became Jews. This stuff you can just go look up. I have a whole Oxford study that I made sure to print out about them not being the Jews. When you find stuff like this, you want to print it out because it'll disappear from Google faster than you can say where is it? Okay, so I have these things printed out. A whole closet full of notes, shelf full of notes on these things. I can pull out the article that took their history, their genome, what have you, their was it their genome? I can't remember, but it's something that is very, very accurate. Meaning it's not hard to mess up. It's not like Ancestry and Ancestry.com, 23andMe, etc. They took it and they ran it through artificial intelligence, some algorithm, and it pointed them geographically to the capital of Khazaria, literally. Okay, most of the fake Jews over there. Okay,
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
Salakia, two things. Can you send me some of that report, sir, Baba Kashat? And also, Salakia, sir, if I may, that shows you the difference between Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans and our oppressors. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we convert to something, and we always want to be under whatever we're converting to. Meaning, if we convert to being Muslims, we got to be under the Arabs, right? Our oppressors, Amalek, they said we're going to be the Jews. We're going to be the people that are chosen in the Bible. We're not going to be under Negroes.
Right. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Yeah. I'll find the article. I don't know if I'll be able to find it now, but
Sir.
Worst case scenario, I'll make a copy, like a paper copy, and then I can send it to you, what have you. Best I can do. Hopefully, when I printed it out, I emailed it to myself or something. But I doubt it. I think I just printed it out. but I can do some digging and find it. If you ever anyone needs something on history, what have you, you can come to me about it because I got a ton of notes. I haven't even been able to look through all of them, but it's heat, high heat, and it
Sounds
proves
good.
the truth that what we teach is absolutely valid. All right.
Right.
In any event, Ezekiel 36:5 says, I'm in the middle of the verse, so excuse me, it says, against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart. See that? They appointed the Lord's land, our land, the Israelites' land, into their possession with the joy of all their heart, meaning it wasn't based on them being the Jews. It wasn't based on them wanting to go back to Zion and wanting to rebuild, etc. It was the joy of their heart. They wanted to go to that land. They wanted to take that little New Jersey strip, okay, that little Long Island strip, that little Manhattan strip of the land of Israel. They wanted to live there. They've been wanting to live there since before World War II, and they went and begged the British to move them there. They began to move them there before the Holocaust, and after it, you had a massive influx of them because they could get citizenship and they could go to a place where they could be, Jewish, which they're not even really Jewish. I watch there's a news show, Amalek News. It's I-24 on YouTube. And if you have television, if you have cable, you can go to I-24 News. I don't know what channel it's on, but it's I-24. That's news from the state of Israel. And they worship the sun. They doing yoga and all that, harnessing their chi with the sun and all that other nonsense. They don't even practice religion. It's disgusting. The whole world looks at these people as the Jews, and they don't worship. They don't do none of that stuff in the Torah at all. They don't follow any of it. Okay. I don't know if you can get pork. I think you can get pork in Israel, but they have gay pride parades. They all smoke cigarettes. A sidebar, real quick, and I'm gonna get into the breakdown. There is a famous rapper from Dimona. I can't remember his name, but if you find him, I'm almost 100% sure that was the cat that I saw. So me and Ashar were eating. Officer Shargapan from headquarters were eating at a little burger joint outside of Columbia University. And we come out and, we got our fringes on, our shields on. And I see this brother smoking a cigarette, right? He had braids. He had braids in his hair. He was with an Edomite that I knew from my school. He was smoking a cigarette, whatever. And he said, whoa, you got the fringes on, whatever. And the Magunda weed. I said, what? He said the Magunda weed or some nonsense. I said, nah, bro, this is the Shield of David. Yeah, and we're the Israelites, ISUBK, whatever. He said, oh, okay. And he said, what do you guys teach or whatever? And I said, we teach about the truth. And, you're an Israelite. He said, oh, yeah, I know. From Dimona. Yeah, I'm from Dimona. Smoking that Newport, sucking on that Newport. Yeah, I know. Okay. I said, okay, why are you smoking? That's the first thing I asked him. Why are you smoking? Are you from Dimona? And you smoke? He said, yeah, there's nothing wrong with smoking. I went to Proverbs 16:27. He threw a damn hissy fit. I said, well, you need to calm down, bro. I don't know why you so damn emotional. And then I went to his friend. I said, yeah, like these laws we got to follow. Like, your friend here, he's not a Jew, man. He's an imposter. He lost his damn mind. When I said that brother looked traumatized. I don't know what they're doing with them over there, but they tied him. Remember the sunken place? They putting him in that Jewish sunken place chair. They tied him to a matzah, my little matzah. These are the Jews. These are Jews. You are no Jew. Crack with the whip. Crack. We are the Jews. He are the Jews, little Negro. She are the Jews. And doing something to them, because I saw in his eyes, this brother, he got teary-eyed, bro. When I said he's not a Jew, and I went Jeremiah 14:2, of course, the fake Jew said, yeah, Jeremiah 14:2, when it says they're black, it means we were sad. I said, oh, really? I whipped the Hebrew out on him, smacked him with the Hebrew. He didn't even know that it's meant dark colored in the Hebrew. Okay, smacked him with that, because that's the fake Jew will say we were black because we're mourning. That's why they all wear black, because they're trying to make Jeremiah 14:2 about them, when that's not what it's talking about. That Jeremiah 14:2 is a physical description of the Israelites, different shades of brown, light skin, dark skin, what have you. Whooped it out on him. I whooped out Deuteronomy 28:68. This fool said his ancestors went into slavery on ships after 70 AD. I said, oh yeah, prove it. You ain't got no proof of that. I said, man, you're an Italian that either converted to Judaism or you're a Jewish person in Italy. That's where your family comes from. There's no way you can prove you went to slavery in Italy, and you would a damn liar. But this cat, I looked him up after, and the cat that was a famous rapper in Israel. That cat looked just like him. But in any event, they yeah, they're the damn devil, okay? And they swallowed us up. They've divided, carved up our land, call themselves us, while we get teary-eyed whenever somebody says that no, they're not the chosen people. We get teary-eyed whenever somebody says, no, you're not African. The Africans, in fact, don't care whether you live or die. We get teary-eyed over that. No, you're not a Spaniard. Spaniards have no ties to you at all. Spain couldn't give a damn less if 200,000 Hondurans died tonight, 200,000 Guatemalans died tonight. Spain doesn't care. Spain doesn't care about Mexico. Spain doesn't care about Colombia. Portugal doesn't give a damn about Brazil. Okay? We get teary-eyed over that. Why? Because we're slaves. We've been swallowed up by these heathens. All right? Bear with me 1 second. Which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart. Once again, they formed these places off the joy of their heart. And the rest of the Middle East was not made by the Arabs. The British carved it up after World War II. Okay? There was the Middle East as you see it today, that was made up by the British. All right? After World War II. Before that, it was, if you were the Booker tribe or the Akbar tribe, that's the land you dwelled in. There was no Iran, there was no Iraq, there was no Jordan, there was no Lebanon, none of that nonsense. They made it because that's what they wanted to do in their mind. It made them happy, okay? They could rob, and steal oil out of that land if they carved it up and divided the people there, okay? To cast it out for a prey. They cast it out for a prey. Every nation sucks up the resources, the taxes, the fees, etc. out of the Middle East when it's our land. Verse 6, prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen. Okay? They have borne the shame, excuse me, they've borne the shame of the heathen. That land, the Lord is furious over, because they've made it a damn tourist trap when it's supposed to be the home of the chosen people of the Most High. Drop that. Get me Ezekiel 38. Run me to Ezekiel 38 real quick. Of course, you can go to Matthew 24 all day. Matthew, the 24th chapter. You can pull that chapter out all day long in these last days. Matthew 24 all day. If you don't know what precept to use on some topic related to war, Matthew 24 all day long. Matthew 24, Matthew 24, Matthew 24th chapter. Of course, you can go to Revelation, where it says the third woe cometh quickly. The third world's war is going to come to a climax quickly. And the climax of the third world's war, a so-called black man is going to drop from the sky and is going to slaughter these nations. Okay? And these nations are going to kill each other in the Middle East. That's what's going to happen. That's what they're setting up for. Okay, but this is leading right up to Ezekiel 38. You had first of all, Syria decided to join the fray. I don't know if any of you have seen the president of Syria recently, Bashir al-Assad. Bashir al-Assad's got ears the size of your computer screen. Okay, the giant-eared Syrian president, he probably heard it from his room in Damascus. Heard the damn bombing in Israel, one country over, and he put those ears to good use. Okay, heard the bombing, and now somebody in Syria was sending hot ones over for Israel. You had a Recep Tayyip Erdogan. I'm probably getting his name wrong. President Erdogan of Turkey, saying that the Arabs need to unite against Israel. Oh boy, if the Arabs unite against Israel, then you're going to have to send in the United States. Biden just pulled out of Afghanistan, I believe, or Iraq, one of those two nations they pulled out of. They're going right back to the Middle East, and they're going to get into something that they're not ready for, messing with Israel. That's the United States. Because if Recep Erdogan, the president of Turkey, made a statement, if the Arabs fall with that statement, you're going to have World War III pick up steam. Okay? And the Arabs come in, You know who's going to come in next? The daddy. Daddy's coming. Okay, once the kids start messing around and fighting on the block, daddy's coming. Okay, down to render judgment. That's who I'm speaking about in terms of the father figure is Russia. Russia is the father figure of the Middle East. Because once again, if those Arab nations join the fray, the Russians are going to get their oil supply cut off. America went into the Middle East not to get their own oil supply. America's oil supply does not come from the damn Middle East. That was, I don't know why they told people that, but as you saw with the hack, America's oil supply comes from domestic sources, Colonial, Texas, what have you. Okay, it's not coming from the Middle East. I think that's been proven, but Russia does get their oil from the Middle East, and so to cut off and to curtail their oil supply, they've turned the Middle East into a mud hole. Okay, if that's what they think they're doing in their mind, of course, Most High is setting it up for destruction. All right, but once again, when Big Daddy steps down, Russia steps down, then the other, when Godzilla comes, King Kong's going to have to come and stop him. Otherwise, they're gonna wreck Israel. Okay, they're gonna come in there and make matzah out of the whole country of Israel, the Russian army. And so to avoid that, America's gonna have to come because, of course, Israel's gonna be crying Holocaust Part 2 at the hands of the evil Nazi Russians. America's gonna come, and then you can kiss this place goodbye. Forget about it. All right. That's what I just said is right in Ezekiel 38th chapter. We're about to read it. All right, real quick.
This is Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 1, and it reads, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying," verse 2, "Son of man, set thy face against Gog." Or Salaki, how do you pronounce that, sir?
Gog, you're right.
Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech, and the Tubal, and prophesy against him.
Yeah, stop at verse 2. Son of man. All right. Son of man here is talking about Ezekiel. Okay. Christ isn't the only person called Son of Man. People need to understand that as well. But in any event, set thy face against Gog. Gog is the biblical name of the so-called Russians. Now, when I say the biblical name of the so-called Russians, Vladimir Putin is a devil, an Edomite. The Russians you see walking around Russia today, by and large, are Edomites. Those Siberian tribes, some of them over there are a mixture of either Moab or they're Japhet. Okay, but Japhet, of course, as all of Europe, the Japhites are the native Russians. Dark-skinned people are the native Russians. They're not Israelites, but the so-called the ancestors of the Hawaiians, Polynesians, Samoans, the people of Guam were over there in Europe. They are in Russia as well. Okay, Gog is a descendant. When you do the history, Gog is a descendant, a relative of, was it Javan? I think he was one of the direct sons of Japhet. Okay. I believe Tubal was as well. But again, I have this in my notes, but when you do the history on the word Meshech, Meshech is literally the ancient name of Moscow. Okay. When you go back to the word Muscovy, before Muscovy, it was, I think it was Moschak. Before Moschak, it was Meshech. That's the biblical name of Moscow. Moscow is the capital of Russia. That's not an accident. That's biblical prophecy. Okay. The prince of Meshech. Meshech is the ruler of Gog. Okay. In the land of Magog. Land of Magog is what at one time was the Soviet Union. It's bigger than just Russia. It was Russia. Those oddball countries, the Borat countries, Bulgaria, etc. All those Eastern Bloc nations are part of the land of Magog. That would be North Korea as well. That would encompass Iran as well. All right. All those nations that are aligned with Russia today. All right.
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
Salakia, sir, if I may. So you're saying Gog is not the Edomites?
No, Gog. Okay. When it says Gog, it's talking about the man Gog is a Japhite. But what you have to understand, and especially in Ezekiel 38, it is listing the names of the natives, the names of the people that were there at the time Ezekiel was prophesying, so that it could be understood today. You get my point? Because the Lord said, the Lord could, okay, he could have said, set thy face against Omar, one of the sons of Edom, set thy face against Gehazi, it's not Gehazi, I can't remember the names, Omar, there's others, set thy face against the sons of Edom. It wouldn't necessarily make sense. Of course, we would understand now that the Edomites um, live in Europe now, but that's not their native land. You understand?
Khan, another one, Khan.
The Lord doesn't respect Russia or Spain. He knew they would come, but he doesn't respect them. He just mentions Russia and all of them as the 7 heads and 10 horns. He doesn't have respect unto them. The Lord said, "Mar not the ancient landmarks." Okay, so when the nations were divided, Genesis 10, Japhites control most of Europe and the occupying the outskirt islands in the Pacific. Okay.
Khan, another one,
Post
Khan.
Genesis 10, when Israel came, we had the land of Israel. We're tied to the land. You get my point? The Japhites are tied to the land. So when it mentions Gog, it's not talking about the Japhites, it's talking about the people tied to the land. Who's tied to the land now? The devil. Okay? That's who's tied to Magog now. The Iranians as well, North Koreans, etc. All right, read on.
Oh, God. Ezekiel,
36 and 4.
so Ezekiel 38 and 4.
30 and 4, come.
It's like a 38 and 4. Ezekiel 38 and 4, it reads, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords."
All of them handling swords, bucklers, swordsmen. He's going to turn Russia back. For years, Russia didn't want war. The Lord is forcing their hand back into war. What war? World War III. Okay. Gog, the land of Magog. Okay. Who occupies that land today? Russia. All right. When I'm good, you would read after, if you would read on, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya. So Persia is literally the name of Iran to this day. Iran is big in the news. Ethiopia, big in the news. All right. That land, that portion, Ethiopia, Somalia, big in the news. Libya was big in the news. They're having a full scale war after they sodomized and killed Muammar Gaddafi in the damn streets like a dog. Libya is an absolute chaos. They're not talking to you about it, but there are wars all over this earth. Okay, this world is immersed in warfare, and Libya is in absolute chaos, an absolute disarray right now because they destroyed that nation like they always do. They're going into World War III. You'll read on; it'll say Gomer. Gomer, once again, is the biblical name of the Central Europeans, Germans, Austrians, going up through the channel up there into France, and again up the channel into the British Isles. Okay, Gomer would be the biblical name, the British, French, those people. Okay, specifically, Gomer would be the French, according to the breakdown. That's what I remember. All right. So Gomer, the others that you see mentioned, talking about the Europeans, different African groups coming into Europe, coming into the Middle East, and they're there right now. The coalition, which is a group of European nations, Gomer, etc., coming in. World War III is coming on this earth. World War III is being set about to free the children of Israel. Black people, West Indians are going to win World War III. That's a wild statement. That's a crazy statement. No one's picking this. Okay, but if I had money, I'd bet on the West Indian. I'd double down on the West Indian. I'd double down on the Central American, Guatemalan, Mexican, Honduran. I'd double down the Colombian, Brazilian, so-called Negro, so-called Haitian, so-called Cuban, because the Negro, Cuban, Dominican, so-called Puerto Rican, First Nation in Canada and America, they are going to be the victors of World War III. That's crazy. But before 2020, if I told you a disease was going to come and shut down the world, you'd have called me crazy as well. Here's the problem. The ISUPK has said crazy things, and it's come to pass that we're correct about them. Guess what? The prediction that you just heard is not a prediction, but it's the future. The so-called Black, Latino, First Nation man is going to be the victor. He's going to win World War III, and Black, Latino, and Native American, our world is coming very, very soon. With that, I pass the class over to Priest and Officer 500 Zabadia. You're going to wrap the class up. Just mention the announcements and go. We're a little over the time, all right?
Khan, not one Khan, sir. Clap it up. Salakia, sir. Officer Shah Yuan, can you drop the sign-out link, Baba Kasha?
Khan.
ICPK security announcements. We are the ICPK, started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. You will see new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3 verses 8 to 10. Ma'ashara, which means tenth in Hebrew, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Up and coming holy convocations. The next up and coming holy convocation is the Salakia, Feast of First Fruits. Montreal, get with if Montreal still Salakia. It's the Feast of First Fruits, June 21st, 2021. The day after the Feast of Unleavened Bread is finished, you count 50 days, and that'll take you to June 21st, 2021, right? You can get with myself or Officer Bond for any questions on the Feast of First Fruits, if we're about any of the gatherings. Montreal, get with Officer 1000 Adiyar, just in case Ontario and Montreal, the inter-provincial border is still closed. Reminder to Akim and Aqua to check isupk.com for any up and coming information. If any, and events. If anybody wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. Salakia sisters as well. You can hit that sign-in link if you want to be a sister in the school. With that said, we're gonna call an end to this class. Men of Israel, we're going to give a quick courtesy salute to the brothers and sisters. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat. Men of Israel, Imagine. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat. Men of Imagine Barak. Yahweh Hashem Al-Shah Barakatah. Yad Yamatal, which means hands down. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Imagine Shabbat. Imagine Barak. Yahweh Shema Al-Thaba Hashem Al-Shah.
Sure.
Class dismissed. Clap it up. Don't forget General Mahana was live on Blackwatch, starting at 9 p.m. Go check it out. Duwada for tuning in.